Now I have another one here that says, when an old man dies, when an old man dies, a library is burned to the ground. When an old man dies, a library is burned to the ground. And this proverb is apt, is true, is cute. Why is the proverb making use of an old man? We know that wisdom lies in old age. So an old person have, been through life, been born, come out of it. He or she have a lot of experience. An old person have a lot of experience. And all these proverbs I have been sharing with you are uttered by old people. So it takes somebody who have been through the process to be able to come out and tell you that this is what life is about. So when an old person dies, a library burned to the ground. Now, why is the person comparing an old man to a library? Simple. There is no place. I think the only place you can equate to a library is a museum where you have all these artifacts and fossils. But a library is a place where you have books about people, about event, about the past, some books about the future. So a library is a rich place of history, a place of sweltering stories. So when you have an old person that dies, it's as good as burning a library to the ground. And why is this proverb seems to be like, to me, like a caution. Whatever it is that lies in the personality of a person should not be allowed to be buried with that person when the person dies. What am I saying? Wisdom, knowledge, skill, personality, experience should be transferred from one person to another. Why are most languages dying in Africa? Why are we losing so much of our values today? It's because the people that held this value, that are custodians of this cultural stuff, moral, beliefs and all of that, they have died with the knowledge. A typical example is, if you watch most of these Chinese documentaries, you see how a man who learned the art of pottery is, you know, encouraging his children and grandchildren, even great grandchildren, to fall in love with the art, to be inspired and take up the skill when he is gone. But in Africa, it's not like that. Everybody is ashamed of what their forefathers have done. And when you now see somebody who is trying to uphold that culture, they term the person maybe a pagan or something. So we are fast losing our culture. When this wisdom dies, it's like burning an entire library to the ground, because the person that dies can no longer tell a story. So that is why people will always tell you that the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because that is where you have dreams that were never realized. So this proverb is beautiful, is rich in meaning. It's rich in meaning. You see a man, he's a medical doctor, he will try all his best to make sure that all his children pass through healthline. All his children are doing something in the health sector. Why? To keep the legacy alive. If a man who is a doctor has a clinic and he dies, and all his children are either maybe involved in one profession or the other outside health sector, if they bring in an outsider cannot run the business the same way the children will run it in memory of their late father. So that is what the person is saying. That you see, when a rich person has been identified, to be rich in area of knowledge or skill, the person should be encouraged to pass it to the younger ones. That is the only way you can keep a library functional and going. So a library can grow when you maintain it. You keep supplying it books, and you also encourage people to go in there and read. And a library can be likened to the human brain. So that is what the proverb is saying.